Spark Kids Ministry. Glad that you're here joining us tonight. And if you are a kid who normally comes to our Wednesday night program, you know that we normally start things off with a game. And even though we're doing online and things look a little bit different than they normally do, that's one thing we're going to keep the same. And everybody's got the opportunity to join in on this game. So here's how it's going to work. Some of you are familiar with the game Kahoot. You may have played it at school. What you're going to do in order to get in on this game is here in just a moment, you're going to pause this video and you're going to open up a web browser, either on some kind of device or a computer, and you're going to go to kahoot.it. Just type that into your web browser. And it's going to pop up with this little window. You're going to type this PIN number in there, and then you'll be able to play a trivia game competing against me and Jeremy and all the other kids that choose to participate in this game. And you can see how your score stacks up against ours. You can see how you did. And the faster you answer those questions, the more points you get for each one. So you do want to kind of do it quickly, okay? And at the end of the week, what we'll do is we'll come back on Friday when it's time for our prize drawing. We'll see who's got the highest score, and then we can put their name in an extra time into the hat for our prize on Friday. So make sure you tune in for that as well. So right now, go ahead and pause this video and go play the game. Now, if you don't want to play it right now, you can do it later, but you need to make sure that you do that before noon on Friday. All right, hopefully you got along okay with that game. You had a good time with it and it worked out, I hope. Normally on a Wednesday night after we play a game, we like to check in on Ian and see how she's doing. And I'm actually a little worried about Ian because when we're not around to keep an eye on her, there's no telling what kind of trouble she's getting into. So I thought maybe we could check in on her together. I'm just going to pull her up on FaceTime here and see what's going on with her. So hang on a second. Try giving her a call. Let's see if she answers.
Hey, hi Adam.
Hey Ian, how's it going?
Hey, it's going great.
Good, yeah,
we're having a good time.
Oh yeah, why's that?
Yeah, I'm working on the calendar challenge thing. Let me show you what I got.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, see, I just decided to make it nice and big.
That's great, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I hope, Ian, I'm actually taking the video here to show the kids so we can check in on you. And hopefully they can see that on their screen too. That looks great.
Yeah, I made it real big so that I could see it clear in there from my recliner.
All right, yeah, that looks awesome. Yeah, that's perfect.
There you go.
Yeah, so what else is going on? How are you doing?
I'm doing great. You know what, Adam? I've got some news if you're, talking to the kids.
Okay, yeah.
This is some pretty exciting news. Watch this. Okay. Whoa.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, if you guys can't see that, she's walking on her boot now. She's actually upright and taking steps. That is awesome, Ian.
I know. I'm walking. I even have this cool thing. Look at this thing.
Oh my goodness, is that a cane?
It's a cane.
Very cool.
It looks like a saw.
Very cool, yeah.
That's cool. That would be
awesome.
my dad, so I'm like using my dad's stuff. And it's cool because I get to think of him whenever I use it, so that's kind of neat too.
Yeah, very nice, yeah.
So I'm getting along good. I had one little incident.
Uh-oh, what's that? What happened?
Well, we have all these shortages, so I decided I'd go to the grocery store. I was going to get some toilet paper,
Oh,
because that's
yeah.
what everybody needs during a pandemic.
Right, yeah, I've heard there's a shortage on that, yeah.
I went to the grocery store. There was one package left, only like 6 rolls. And I thought, I got it. I got the last package. And here comes this little old lady, like maybe 90 years old. She's going for that package of toilet paper.
Okay.
And I thought, I bet I could grab this and even with my boot, run faster than her.
Oh my, Ian.
But
So
then I started thinking, what would Joy tell me? What would Jesus want me to do? And I thought, no, he would want me to give the toilet paper to the little old lady.
Oh,
So
good.
I did. I didn't know what I was going to do, but you know what happened, Adam?
What?
I got home, and someone had left toilet paper on my front of my lawn, like up in the trees and stuff. So I just gathered all that up. And I have plenty of toilet paper now.
Well, I'm glad that worked out for you. That's good to hear.
God provides.
Exactly. Yeah, that's good to hear, Ian. All right. Well, I'm glad to see that you're doing okay.
I'm doing good. Everybody say, I miss everybody. That's my biggest thing.
Yeah. It's sad that we can't be together, but I'm glad we can at least do this kind of thing.
Yeah, I love this. And
Right.
so I want everybody to keep doing the challenges too, because then I get to see what they do on Facebook.
That's right. Yeah, it's a great way to stay in touch with everybody.
And keep their Bible studies going.
Exactly. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. So that's what I would suggest. And then pretty soon, before we know it, this will all just be a memory, and we'll just say, remember when.
That's right. Yep. All right. Well, thanks for talking to us, Ian, and glad to hear that you're doing okay.
Thanks for checking in on me.
Yeah, absolutely. Bye, Ian.
Bye.
Well, there you have it. There's Ian. Looks like she's doing okay. I'm glad to hear that. And, well, I guess since Ian's doing okay, we'll go ahead and jump right into our Bible story. And as we get set to get into our Bible story for this week, just want to remind you that it is still the month of March, believe it or not, which means we are still on our virtue of forgiveness. And we define forgiveness as deciding that someone who has wronged you doesn't have to pay. And also that means that we are continuing with our memory verse for the month, which is Colossians 3:13, which says, "Bear with each other and forgive one another. If any of you has a grievance against someone, forgive as the Lord forgave you." And it's kind of a mouthful, I know, but I know the last time I saw you, a lot of you had that memorized already. So keep up the good work. And now let's get into our Bible story. A while back, we talked about the story of the prodigal son. And some of you may not have been there for that. It was on a Sunday morning, and it's been a little while, so we're going to get a quick recap of that as a refresher, or if, in case to catch you up to speed if you weren't there for it. But just to give you an idea, at this time, Jesus was going around and teaching crowds and performing these amazing miracles. And some people were really impressed by this and wanted to follow Jesus, but not everyone. Not everyone was impressed, and not everyone was real happy with what he was doing. The religious leaders in particular were not pleased, and one day, some of them were grumbling because Jesus was choosing to hang around some people and share meals with people that the religious leaders just did not think were as good as they were. And they didn't like that Jesus was hanging out with them. And Jesus knew that these leaders thought that they were better than everyone else, and so Jesus decided to share a story with them. And so this is the story that he told. And this is just a recap of what we talked about before. There was a man with 2 sons, and the younger son asked for his share of the father's inheritance. So at this time, though, what was supposed to happen was when the father died, each of the sons would get a share of what their father owned. And when the son asked for his inheritance, what he was really saying was, "I wish you were dead already," to his father. And that's just obviously very harsh and pretty rude. And so this was not a good thing to say. But the father allowed that to happen. The son got his money, took his money, packed up his stuff, and he went to a faraway country. And he was quite the party animal. He lived it up and he spent all of his money. And in fact, soon his money was all gone. And then the whole country started running low on food. It was a bad situation. And the younger son ended up getting a miserable job feeding pigs, and he also starved. He was not getting enough food to eat himself. And the son decided to head home, and he was going to beg his father for mercy and ask if he could just live as a servant, not to be accepted as a son, but just live as a servant in his father's household. But he could never have expected what would happen next, because his father was watching for him and came running out to him when he saw him, and he welcomed his son with open arms, and he kissed him, and he threw a huge party for him in his honor. And it seemed like a happy ending, and this is kind of where we stopped before. But Jesus wasn't finished with the story yet. And so we're going to get back into the story and look a little bit further. Because while the younger son was receiving his warm welcome, the older son was out working in the field. And I don't think he was whistling while he worked either. We can imagine that he had been working hard ever since the younger son left. And as the older son wrapped up his workday and started to head in for the night, he could tell that something was going on. And when he came near the house, he heard music and dancing and saw that there was some kind of a party going on, but he didn't know why. And we can imagine what he would have seen and how he would have reacted. When he asked the servant what was up, the servant told him that his father had thrown a party because his younger brother had come home. And the older son was furious when he heard this. Why should they celebrate his brother after everything that he had done wrong? The older son refused to go in and join the party. The father came out and begged his son to join him. And this is what his son said to his dad. This is what the older son said to his dad. Look, all these years I've worked like a slave for you. I have always obeyed your orders. You never gave me even a young goat so I could celebrate with my friends. He was kind of complaining that he didn't get anything even though he was doing what was right. Meanwhile, his brother had run off and spent all of his dad's money, and when he came home with nothing, he got a party. And the dad said, "My son, you are always with me. Everything I have is yours. But we had to celebrate and be glad. This brother of yours was dead, and now he's alive again. He was lost, and now he's found." So what do you think happened next? Do you think that the older son decided to forgive his younger brother and go into the party? Or do you think he shut the door on that relationship forever? Now, the interesting thing is, in this story, Jesus never really tells us. He didn't tell the crowd gathered that day whether the older son chose to forgive his younger brother and join the party or not. But one thing's for sure, if the son didn't forgive, if he chose to stay mad at his brother and stayed on the outside, he missed out. He missed the chance to have a good relationship with his brother. He missed out on a lot of great things, including a pretty epic party. And our bottom line for today is this: when you don't forgive, you miss out. We don't just forgive because it's just what God wants for us. We should do it because of that as well. But we also have to understand that we miss out if we don't forgive. When we choose to stay mad instead of forgiving someone, we miss out. We miss out on a great friendship just because we misunderstood something that someone said. We might miss out on being able to laugh and have fun with our brother or sister because we're too focused on being angry. And that's no good for anyone. It's not easy to forgive, but God can help us. And if we're not careful, we can start to think like the older son in Jesus' story. It can be hard for us to forgive because it doesn't seem fair. But that's when we need to remember that all of us need forgiveness. And we should be happy for others when they're forgiven too. God has had a plan for forgiveness from the very beginning. Even in the Garden of Eden, God knew that what he was going to do to fix our relationship with him. And he sent Jesus to be our Savior. And since Jesus died on the cross for us, we can experience forgiveness with God as well. And we can choose to forgive others as well. That does it for our Bible story for this week. I hope that you were able to get something out of it. We do have some announcements, I guess, a little bit different this week with it being an online program. Really, all I want to tell you for our announcements is please make sure you're staying in touch. We got a lot of stuff going on at the Spark. Every Monday, we've got our Bible study sheet. We had a fun little activity with the eggs, the last egg standing March Madness tournament. If you haven't gotten in on that already, please do that. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to unveil who the winning egg is on Friday afternoon. And so go back to Monday's video, check the link for that so you can get in on that. Every Tuesday, we've got a family challenge. You saw Ian's calendar that she's working on. You can be working on that as well. And for all of these things, we've got some prizes coming out to you as well. If you did the Kahoot game tonight, that's another way to get your name in the drawing. And Friday afternoon, we're going to put all those names in a hat and we'll draw out a winner. So make sure you stay in touch. I would love to hear from you guys. So make sure that you send me a message. I'd love to hear from you. Give me a call, give me a text, whatever it is. I'd love to hear how you're doing. Love you guys and praying for you guys. Can't wait to see you again.